Hi everyone, my name is David. Have you ever looked up in the sky and been surprised by the shape of the moon? Sometimes it can look like a small, shadowy sliver. Other times it can be big, bright, and round. These are called moon phases, and if we don't think about it too much, they can almost seem unpredictable, or even like the moon itself is changing its physical shape. And we know that's not true. The moon can't morph into different shapes. But what can explain these changes that we see from Earth? Sort of like the art project we'll be doing today with Seth, moon phases are kind of like an optical illusion that are caused by the relative positions of the moon, the sun, and the Earth. And we know the sun is at the center of our solar system, and we know that Earth revolves around the sun once every year. We also know that the Earth spins on its axis once every day. The moon is another object in the system that is in motion. And the moon does a similar motion to what the Earth does around the sun, is that the moon revolves around the Earth. It takes approximately 1 month for the moon to make a complete circle around the Earth, a little bit less. It's 28 days, but it's actually where the word month comes from, by the length the moon takes to get around the Earth. Now, with all these objects in motion, it can start to make your head spin. So let's do what scientists like to do when we study things that are big and hard to get our brain around. We're going to make a scientific model, and we're going to learn how to use things in our house to simulate things in the system and observe how they behave. All right, let's go. All right, scientists, we're going to set up our experiment. First, what you need to do is find a room in your house that has windows that can be covered and that can be made to be dark. We want a dark room to make shadows. Next, what I did was I turned off all of the lights in my room and I took one bright desk lamp and I put it up high on a shelf where I could have this be my sun. Now I want you to just move around the room and see if you can play around with shadows. What happens when you move towards the wall? What happens when you move towards the sun? See if you can figure out where the shadow starts and where the shadow ends. Then we're going to bring our moon out. Now we're going to set up our model. We have a lamp up on the shelf that's going to be our sun. We have found a ball that we can use as our moon. And I am going to be the Earth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to observe what this object looks like based on where it is around me. Because we learned before that the moon moves around the Earth. So come in a little closer and we'll see what that looks like. Stand in the center of your room. Put your moon out in front of you. See how much of it is lit up and how much is in the shadow. Next, just like we did before playing with shadows, move around and see what happens to light as you spin. Is the light growing? See if you can find the spot in this orbit where the sun is lighting up as much of the moon as possible. This is our full moon phase. Keep spinning. Do you start to notice light changing at all? Is it shrinking now? See if you can find the spot in the moon's orbit where it is the dimmest. This is our new moon phase. All right, lunatics. Hopefully you had as much fun with the shadows as I did. Here's what we learned about moon phases today. The new moon phase occurs when the moon is on the same side of the Earth as the sun and appears entirely covered in shadow. The full moon phase is when the moon is on the opposite side of the Earth as the sun and appears entirely illuminated. A full lunar cycle is when the moon goes from new moon to full moon, back to new moon, and this takes around 28 days. Light and shadow always appear to move across the moon's surface from right to left. Waxing is when light on the moon's surface appears to be growing, and waning is when light on the moon's surface is appearing to shrink. Crescent describes the phase of the moon where less than half of the moon's surface is lit up, and gibbous is where greater than half of the moon's surface is lit up. Hopefully you had fun learning about the moon today. Thank you for your help.